I'm Adam Burns and welcome to Meet the Boss TV. This week we're going to get some innovation inspiration from Germany via California as I talk with Laurenz Schaffer, President of BMW Group Designworks USA. According to Fast Company magazine, BMW Group Designworks USA is currently the most innovative company in design and one of the most innovative companies for 2010. This is a place that took German engineering and precision and mashed it up with Californian car culture and then let the result loose on everything from yachts to ski helmets to Microsoft watches. In the business world, innovation stock has never been so high, which makes Laurenz something of a man with a Midas touch. I asked him how he continues to set high standards for his high-achieving company.
The asset of our company obviously is not the materials, the hardware around it, but it's the people, the creative people. And then there is an aspect that is our true differentiator, which is cross-fertilization, which is basically a basic belief that working across different disciplines is what makes up good ideas very much. And then a drivenness to design, which ultimately speaks to the passion of design, the driving aspect, the essence of what we are about. And then, of course, as we move forward, we want to be a sustainable company in every aspect and everything we do. So this is the set of basic beliefs and values that everyone follows in the company very much.
I see that just around the corner from where we're filming, there's a plaque on the wall celebrating 25 years of Designworks USA. Mm-hmm. And what's nice about that plaque is it says, great projects, great work, but then the third pillar is great fun. I understand that design is an exciting thing to do, but how do you encapsulate, how do you manage for fun? How do you sort of build that in?
Well, I think the diversity of projects that we are doing is encouraging people very much to think out of the box. I think the excitement level, if you imagine that you're working the one day on an airplane interior and the other day on a coffee maker and the third day then on a car, I think that diversity really keeps up the spirit and the fun aspect of work a lot.
So at the moment we've got obviously kind of current economic climate has been quite tough, which means that we can either be gloomy or we can accept that we need to be better at our jobs, better than our competitors, and better, crucially, I think, at reporting the impact of what we do. What for you, as a sort of creative, innovative company, what are your most valuable metrics?
Usually we get a quite good understanding of the monetary goal setting, the volume turnover that our client wants to achieve with a new product, or the revenue increase, or a certain strategy for market entry, and that can be measured then. There's other areas like increase of brand value that can be measured. There is third areas around how well a design solution fits consumer needs. And then, of course, there's a lot of qualitative aspects from the client side in regards to how improvements are done when it comes to moving the company forward. And certainly this is never an achievement of one area alone, but it's really the collaborative aspect where design speaks to a marketing goal, where marketing goal speaks to a business goal and a strategy in general. And this is basically the approach there.
What gets you enthused and engaged? Because obviously people respond to enthusiasm and they respond to that engagement, especially from the leaders. What keeps you excited?
I think everything that's new and that tends to shape the future of the world around us. This is essentially also what we are about. We're really good in understanding what the future potentially can look like and why that is the case. And I think that keeps me spiritually healthy, and I guess this is the same with our teams as well. They're simply interested in understanding a time span and a context that is far out.
And it interests me with something like BMW Designworks because you say they're interested in the future and they know what the future will look like. But actually, of course, you are designing what the future looks like. I mean, the best example, perhaps the most common example for the audience is BMW's breathing car, you know, this car where the eyes open and all that sort of thing. There must be quite an interesting when you're absolutely kind of riding the crest of the wave and you know that this project is going to be great and it is actually going to define something, what does that feel like within the company?
I think big ideas must be seen, and they must be put in a right spot. It needs a management mandate as well, that these ideas are picked up, that there is a vision that is then formulated to develop the idea to a greater extent. And this was exactly the case with this car concept, where the original idea was more about moving structures with a construction principle around bones and skin, very much like a hand would look like, a body part, for example. And that was then transferred to the area of car design, where that aspect around replacing sheet metal with fabrics and replacing rigid structures with something that can move to provide new functions and new aerodynamics, for example, was so paradigm shifting as a starting point.
When you get something like that, how do you use that for the benefit of BMW Group Designworks?
Well, some of these projects serve as internal benchmark, for example, right? They are used to understand how the success came across it all, right? How the idea was developed, what the process was behind it, why someone came up with ideas at all, and how the path was then to a fully developed product. And this is something that we either try to replicate and do differently to be adapted to another type of a project and another goal setting with it. And these projects tend to attract the right talent that are somehow wanting to be affiliated with these types of thinking, these types of project, and the way that the design is ultimately done. So we are also exposing these projects to the design community to attract the right type of talent. Recruiting is one of the essential areas what my job is about, and obviously the future of the company is about very much.
Designworks' design team comes from over 14 different countries and is constantly rotated to ensure maximum innovation. So how can effective management get the best from your creative workers?
Well, we send them out in the world. We make them understand what consumers really want and need. There is research techniques to do that, ethnographic research, for example, simple observation, and there is obviously also information that our designers are utilizing data simply, right, around target groups, customer mindsets, values, and so on. And this all needs to be understood. So the transformation process of all of that information into a creative idea and the result is the essential part of it. But it's not that this is only based on individual imagination. It's really about understanding the premises and the framework before you start to create an idea.
And do you think that culture change needs to happen then for innovation to occur? What advice would you offer somebody operating within perhaps a more rigid, more bureaucratic structure?
First of all, company vision. Innovation needs to be embedded in a vision and a strategy, and that's a top-down thing, certainly. And then from a structural standpoint, I think avoiding silos of interest, and this is usually the case with rigid structures and departmental orientation. This is something that is certainly counterproductive generally. We used to install cross functions that have the assignment to foster collaboration.
Everything starts at the top, including a company that produces such incredible design work. So in this next section, I wanted to find out a little bit more about its president, with links to a European parent company, offices in Asia. You work, I believe, roughly 50% for BMW Group and 50% for other clients. I'm guessing potentially that's almost a 24-hour day.
It is a 24-hour day. If you look at the time zones, then usually when we start, it's late afternoon in Germany, and it is very early in the morning in Asia. So a lot of the projects that we are doing are across all three studios, where especially in larger programs, the input from the different cultural areas, different viewpoints are required. We just hand over. So whenever we are concluded in a day, the other two studios continue then. So it's really a 24/7 workday.
And how do you make time within work itself? Because if you, you're constantly being hit by people and hit by, I need this from you, and somebody needs a decision on this, and this can't happen until you give it the say-so, and et cetera, et cetera. But if you are constantly just doing that, your decision-making is reaction, really. It's a reaction to demand as opposed to a clear vision for change. How do you make time to plan?
I think first of all, delegation is an important one. There is more really good people in the company than only myself. We have experts that can do decision in very clear areas. They are responsible. They are made accountable for their decisions as well. They know what they are doing, so relying on these people is an important aspect, certainly. My responsibility is overall steering, so some of the fundamental questions of where we move with the company at all, this is what I'm steering a lot. Conflicts of interest is something that I'm steering, for example. Important decisions in client collaboration is where I'm heavily participating. Important milestones in a project, but it's not everything that I need to decide. It's really about a team that is capable of working together and doing sound decisions.
Your background is as a designer, and inevitably now you do less and less designing. How does that feel?
It's a bit of a pity, actually. As a trained designer, you always feel connected to the profession deeply, and it's very enjoyable to watch the teams design and to take part in the process and to see how things evolve, actually. I'm a true designer by heart. However, I understand that due to my assignment, I have a different task now.
When you design something, it is, I'm not going to say a part of you, but there must be an emotional connection. You're very, very close. Of course, in your role, you have to say that's wrong. Does having the background as a designer, does that make that decision easier because you can connect with the person, or does it make it harder?
I think the way that we are doing decisions for wrong and right is based on, first of all, criteria. We need to understand why we are doing a decision at all and what the different aspects is that we need to have a clear argumentation on. And then the other portion of it is good intuition as well, based on experience and based on a sound gut feeling. This is always part of a process as well.
How about you then? What's left on your things to do list? Things that Laurenz Schaffer would really like to achieve in life. What's left for you to do?
Shaping the future.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. And this is also what my position is about in this company very much. The company is obviously working pretty well, very substantial in regards to its capabilities. Teams are superb. We're on a growth path, but shaping that in accordance to a more major strategy, this is one of my future achievements.
Any hints, any tips? What's the future? What's my future going to look like?
Well, I can tell you what our future looks like, and maybe I can tell you what impact that has on you. Our future is very much about understanding new and different markets. So with our 3 studios, this is certainly a starting point. We are looking at a better footprint into new markets. Europe is one of our existing core markets, certainly. We're also looking into new services. Our current core certainly is about design and design consulting. As we move forward, we want to look into other areas such as branding a little better. The area of research and strategy is something that is certainly growing with that, and that will ultimately create new products that are future-oriented, that satisfy customers as you.
Laurenz, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.
For more fantastic interviews directly related to your business, be sure to explore Meet the Boss TV.